Welcome to the Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun. Why do people manage with fear?
Why do people micromanage?
Why do people
also
micromanage? We're going to get right into it.
Yeah.
We're going to get right into it.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's having a great week, but listen up.
Listen.
I'm on my soapbox today.
Listen, Linda.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
That's so
listen,
2009.
Linda. Yeah.
Anyways.
So we actually, I say we.
Yeah.
I shared with you what I posted.
Yes.
On Facebook.
Yes.
Because I was hot.
Hot.
And on fire.
Fire.
And there was a lot of people that agreed with us.
Yeah.
That you do not manage in fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't threaten people's jobs.
Right.
You don't tell them that they're replaceable.
That's so icky.
Do you want to break the team morale in a second?
Yeah.
Tell them that if this isn't the job for you.
Give them an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Right?
I know I don't do well with ultimatums. You're
no.
not going to tell me it's your way or the highway because I will pick the highway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lead or follow.
I'll lead myself right out the door.
I'll lead myself right to my
Go
house.
big. Go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
I'll go home.
I'll go home. Yeah.
So, of course, we went to ChatGPT to ask about this, and it says managing with fear is a leadership style where leaders use fear as a primary tool to motivate, I'm putting that in quotes, employees and achieve organizational goals. That doesn't work anymore.
That doesn't work.
It never worked. It doesn't work anymore. The approach often involves threats, intimidation, and a strict punitive environment.
I feel like it's real easy to get unemployment nowadays. So like,
right,
fire me, you know?
So some key points that it brought up for us, and we can add our own things to it, is like characteristics of a fear-based management. So I guess before we start, if any of this is part of it, we're going to share like how to get out of it too, right? At the end, it kind of shares some examples, and maybe we can share our own examples.
Yeah.
Intimidation and threats. Managers can use threats of job loss, demotion, and other punitive actions to compel employees to meet targets or follow orders.
I feel like that's really dangerous in the retail world because you can go anywhere and get a job.
Yep.
Maybe not in the same position you're in now, maybe not at the same pay grade, but a lot of times, and we always say people don't leave jobs, they leave bad bosses, 100%. Right?
100%.
And a lot of times people are like, you know what? I'm sick of leading people. I will go take less money for not all that stress.
For no stress.
Yeah.
We actually have quite a few friends. A couple of them have been on the podcast that they were at a place and they finally were like, I'm done. Yeah. They took a $20,000 pay cut. One of our friends took a $20,000 pay cut to go be happy.
Yeah.
And he's super happy.
Yeah.
Loves it. Loves the management, loves his role, everything.
It's like, I don't think, you know what? And that's what really sucks is we think we're trapped in our jobs. A lot of us think that.
I went through it. Because, you know, I'm 39 now.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was getting older and, you know, all the young ones will beat me out of it. And, you know, they'll beat me to the interview and through the interview and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes they're not looking for maybe experience or they're looking for someone with youthful whatever or fresh out of college or anything like that. So I went through a very low self-esteem during that time of trying to find a job. And then I realized that it would work. So it does work.
It does.
Just go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Know your worth.
Know your worth. And I did twice. So how about micromanaging? So for those that don't know, I'm sure most of you know, but if you haven't gone through it, it's constant surveillance and detailed control over your work, leading to a lack of autonomy. So that would be, for example, we shared an example on Facebook. You know, our bosses could be right around the corner.
Yeah.
So always make sure you're doing your job because he likes to go into stores and watch people work.
Yeah.
First of all, that's just creepy.
Yeah.
But second of all, that's a tactic of micromanaging. So you constantly think you're looking over your shoulder.
Right.
And that's happened to me before too. You know, I'll be in a store and I'll just be like, could they be watching me? Could they? It's almost like, you know, Big Brother's watching.
Well,
because they've shared that.
I feel like I've had an attitude of you're always on camera. So,
sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just do your job.
Right. No, of course.
If you're doing your job, you can't get in trouble. But if you have somebody that's just up your ass all day.
Yeah.
Then they're going to find a reason that you didn't do something right or didn't do it long enough or didn't do it correctly or whatever.
Yeah.
To their standard.
So an example of micromanaging would be like if I was going to hop on a call and the call started at 11 a.m. and the person that was leading the call texted me at 10:58 and said, meeting with a question mark. Are you here? And I don't hop on calls until the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm prepared for the calls.
Right.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hop on early, and especially if I have another call.
Right.
If I have a call from 10:30 to 11, and then a call from 11 to 11:30.
Right.
I may not be able to hop on till 11 or 11:01.
Yeah.
I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
Don't text me 2 minutes before reminding me of the meeting. That's what my computer and my phone is for.
You know what? Don't we usually get a recap of meetings anyways?
And it's okay if you miss them.
Right.
If you are talking to a store director about doing something and you're missing a meeting, you can easily hop on and go into the chat and say, sorry for the delay or thanks for waiting for me or whatever you want to say. I was talking to a store director and that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to be stressed out about being on a call on time.
Yeah.
You come in 3 or 4 minutes later, you can reach out to someone that maybe is in leadership and say, hey, what did I miss?
Yeah.
You probably didn't miss anything.
Nothing.
It's retail.
It was, hello, everybody. How are you today?
Yeah. Where's everybody from? What's everybody doing? No,
tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm just joking.
So how about punitive actions, like quick to punish mistakes rather than using them as learning opportunities?
Right.
Coach, teach, train. I learned that from someone that went over to a different division of ours. And although he was very firm and like strict with how he would say things, he was the best person to get coached by.
Yeah.
And literally in his email signature, it said coach, teach, train, and it's never left my mind.
Yeah.
Never.
You know, I always think of the saying, you get a lot more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Oh.
Well, flies like shit too. They like shit.
Nobody likes vinegar.
But, you know, and it's like... I have a leader that never makes me feel like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are no stupid questions. If you don't know, just ask, just reach out. Like, I never get yelled at for asking anything, or even if he brings something to my attention, he never makes me feel like, well, you didn't do it.
100%.
He'll be like, hey, check it out. I did this for you. Make sure you're following up on that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
You are the greatest. Thank you for the help.
100%.
You know, yeah.
Such a great way to be a leader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be like, you didn't do this.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to be like, yeah, and I fucking never will again either.
Right.
Won't fit that into my schedule since you yelled at me.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. Yeah, I don't react to negative very good.
Yeah.
How about a lack of trust? Pervasive atmosphere of distrust where managers believe employees are not self-motivated or trustworthy. Trustworthy is a big thing. So we work in a company, and I'm not saying this is happening by us. I'm just saying it as an example. We work in a company that you are independent.
Right.
You have 10 stores, 11 stores, 50 stores, whatever it is, that you have to go visit every week or every 2 weeks or 4 times a period, whatever it is. And you have to be a self-starter, motivated, because you are on your own. It's you and the store.
Right.
Your boss isn't lurking unless they're a micromanager.
Right.
You know, maybe a phone call to another team member if you want to understand something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. But I got my coworkers that we call each other like, hey, did you do this? How did you do this? What did it look like? Send me a picture. We also have a great team chat. Yep. Right? Where you can reach out and be like, hey, did anybody see this yet?
Yep.
Or if you saw it, you can put a picture in there and be like, hey, everybody, this is what it looks like if you haven't seen it yet.
You know what's a great example that happened last week is that someone asked, how are you hanging those signs?
Yep.
And people shared their pictures. Hey, maybe try this. Because we all know that coolers are different.
Yeah.
Different, you know, some have doors, some don't. And it was super helpful.
Yeah.
That's what it should be used for.
Yep.
Not.
I agree.
But so, if there's a lack of trust, that means that you're going to feel it that way.
Right.
They're going to be asking you questions like, so why did you go this way and then this way? And that's because I was called to go there. You should never have to fully explain what you're doing.
I could never imagine. Okay, first of all, if
she got serious, folks.
If any of my bosses ever called me and was like, why did you take this way from this store to that store? Because my fucking GPS told me to. It never takes me the same way. It depends on what day it is, what time of day it is, where the traffic's at. I never know where I'm going.
No.
There is a few stores that I can get between without my GPS. But
that's about it.
I don't know what the traffic is like. It might take me a completely different way. I always use my GPS.
And your week is not the same.
No,
You
never.
might have to go to one store because there's a store visit and then go back to another store.
Yes.
So you've never gone that way before. Or you start at a store that's closer, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have to go back to that store. Okay.
Right.
Or, so.
You know what? And I've had where it's like, I went to one store and then a second store, and I didn't finish everything at that second store, so I started there the next morning.
You're right, exactly.
Like, okay, finish up my shit here and then go to my other 2 stores that I planned on going to today.
And a micromanager would send you a message in the morning and say, wait, why are you back? Why are you there?
You didn't
that
finish
has happened.
it?
I have heard that
you
happening.
didn't finish it?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, no.
Because if somebody calls me and says that, I'm going to be pissed.
Yep.
I've always been very open. Like, when I first started going to Wisconsin, what did I do every single day at every single store? Run, process, load.
Yep.
Right? I walked into this store, and it was during COVID. They had like 800 call-offs. Like, the manager was on vacation. I walked in, the processed wall was empty.
Oh, no.
Empty.
Poor
There
store.
was no lunch meat. There was no cheese. There was no hot dogs. No sausages. No, like, ready-make meals. And I just started running load. And I called the boss, and I was like, hey, I have to help this store. And they were like, yep, no problem. Do what you got to do. Create that relationship with that store.
100%.
Whoever has that store now, I bet they got an easy time there. Because,
our boss is like that now.
Yeah.
Like, if I call and say, hey, I just showed up and their whole cooler was down, I'm just going to spend my day here.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please do.
That's like, it's kind of what we do.
Yeah. We put out the fires.
Yeah.
Many times.
We have our people that we represent in the store, right? Our companies we represent in the store. Because basically we're vendors, right?
Yep.
But it's like we create these close relationships with these managers and stuff. And I know my boss probably wouldn't like hearing this, and I'm sorry, but I'm always willing to help,
Right,
like,
yeah.
Oh, you need to reset that, and you had 2 call-offs today, and you need to go work the meat counter for a couple minutes. I'll help you,
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did it yesterday. I drove 3.5 hours to go visit one of the team members, and she walked out and she's like, hey, I'm going to run some of this. I'm like, go ahead. Let me go finish some of your other stuff.
Yeah.
And then she ran it, and then that was it. We finished at the same time, and stuff was done around the store.
Everything got done.
And that was a busy store.
And everything got done
moly.
eventually.
Everything got done eventually. So how about high pressure, creating a high stress environment where employees feel constant pressure to perform without fail?
I don't do good under pressure.
Absolutely not.
I don't mind when we have projects and it's like we have a deadline. I don't mind that because our deadlines are usually like a month. You get a month to finish it.
Sure.
So it's not pressure.
Yeah.
But it's like you got to get it done in that month.
Right. You have to organize yourself to get it done.
Right.
And then for me, sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes it's, can you get this done by end of day? Sure, I don't mind it. It's maybe once or twice a month where it's like an end of day or end of week, or can you send me this report?
Yeah.
But I always share back, I'm in a store right now. I can get it back to you by, and if they disagree with me, then they write me back, which they never do.
Yeah.
I'll get it back to you tomorrow by 11 a.m.
And they're
give
like,
me 24 hours.
All right, because really I don't need it till Wednesday.
Absolutely.
So
that's always, oh, no, that's okay. We're meeting next month. It's like, okay. But no, very rarely in this job anyways that, and sometimes in stores when, the district manager's showing up or whatever, you actually still get enough time where they say, hey, they're coming on Wednesday, but it's like the Thursday or Friday before.
Yeah.
So in retail, everybody works through the weekends, and Monday you get through all the busy customers, and then you still keep prep until Wednesday. So it's not like it's a last minute do what you can. I mean, we've had a couple of those, right? Where
that's usually when the freezers go out.
Right.
And it's like, holy shit, 911, we need to get these emptied.
You're roping off the freezer doors.
Holy shit, 911, we need to get these filled.
Everybody come in at 3 a.m. on Wednesday. I've done that a few times too. How about the effects on employees and the organization because of all of this?
Well,
let's talk about that.
So I feel like you're going to get lower performance because
eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like short-term compliance maybe first.
It's,
and then it's going to dwindle.
Well, okay. And it's, here's another saying, like your lack of scheduling isn't an emergency on my part.
100%.
Right? You know, so you can't say that everything is an emergency because people are going to stop believing you. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, the world is still turning and we didn't meet our deadline.
Yep.
And then they're going to be like, oh, I don't have to work this hard all the time. Or they're going to go find another job that doesn't require that much work. You know, like there's so many, you know, you've said it, I've said it. The farther up the ladder you get, kind of the easier it is. Like you have more stress, but it's different stress, you know?
Right.
And it's like, just because you didn't perform correctly, don't put it on us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I just feel like that's a fail on a manager's part if everything is constantly a fire that needs to be put out. Like you need to plan better than
And sometimes I feel like management just dumps on
blames.
The team members without fully talking through everything looking through everything that's going on.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And also my biggest pet peeve is when we bring in a new product and they go, that'll never sell here. Mm-hmm. How do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? It'll never sell if you don't order it and keep it on the shelf.
Yep.
And I know that those managers get on you about shrink, right? Throwaways, waste. But if it's something that has a long shelf life, like what is the hurt in putting it up and seeing if it sells for a couple months?
I would be rich for all the times that I heard it doesn't sell here.
Yeah.
Really? Because in the handheld it says 6 were sold yesterday.
Yeah.
So you just need to order another case.
It's so wild.
It is wild.
They're like, I just throw it away. And I'm like, do you mark it down before you throw it away? Or do you not even look at the section at all? Because it seems to me like you're not looking at the section at all.
As you have a full cart of ADA codes.
Yeah, you know.
How about low morale and engagement? So fear-based management can lead to decreased job satisfaction, morale, and engagement.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
You can't yell at somebody for so long and then have them be engaging and inspired and wanting to keep working for you.
And then you get like tyranny, right? Because people start talking. And they go, oh, my God, he yelled at you for that, too. He yelled at me for that. Like, this is bullshit. That's not even our fault. And then you're starting to get groups.
Yep.
You get gangs.
Yep.
You get gangs against the worker gangs against the boss gangs.
Yep. And then let's talk about turnover, too, with that.
Oh, yeah.
So you lose your people.
Yeah.
You lose your people.
You know what I was just thinking? I quit my job in the middle of COVID. This is wild. So I saw a Reddit, and it was, what is something you want a documentary made on? And it was the PPP loans. Okay?
Oh, interesting.
Which would be great, right? Because we know there was a lot of scandalous shit going on with the PPP loans. And it got me thinking, when I put my 2 weeks in at the last place, I had been there for 10 plus years, right? There was like 4 of us that had left during COVID or right before COVID, you know, this and that. There was rules when you took those PPP loans that if you did not maintain like 30% of your original employees, then you would have to pay those back. And I was like, that's why they were trying so hard to get me to stay.
Well, I mean, plus you're a great employee. Come on now. Maybe a small factor, but yeah.
But I'm absolutely positive corporate was down my store director's ass. Like, you've already lost 4 people that have been here for 10 years. And it was nothing against my boss. I actually really enjoyed my boss at the time. And I felt bad leaving him, but I knew it was time to leave. And he's gone now anyways. So it's like, you know.
Is he at a different store? Or is he gone from the company?
He's at a different store.
Okay.
Yeah, which he's not that far. Maybe I would have followed him, but I doubt it,
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I was thinking about that. Anyways.
No, you're good.
Back on subject.
The effects on employees and the organization would be reduced innovation. For example, fear stifles creativity and innovation, as employees are less likely to take risks or suggest new ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because if they suggest a new idea and you go, no, that's not how we're doing it.
That never sells here.
But I'm going to watch you do it the way that I said to do it. And then they're like,
turn around and take credit for it.
Oh, yes, of course.
Boy.
So don't even get me started.
Kicking someone right in the shins for that one.
And then, of course, it causes poor relationships. It damages relationships between managers and employees, leading to a lack of collaboration and trust. And no organization.
Yeah, you got to have trust with your employees.
Yeah.
I really hope that our podcast at least reaches one CEO in its lifetime.
And I hope it's not our CEO so that we don't get fired.
They wouldn't fire
No,
us.
they wouldn't.
We're good workers.
Freedom of speech.
But also, I really hope that one CEO falls into our podcast and, totally rethinks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
SOS. Share our shit.
Share our shit. Share it to somebody's corporate.
Let's lighten it up just a little tiny bit.
Okay.
Alternatives to fear-based management.
How about reward-based management?
Yeah.
Is that one on there?
That's not.
No, of course not.
Pizza-based? Is that what we're saying? Transformational leadership, which means inspiring and motivating employees through a shared vision and positive reinforcement.
So I understand it's very hard to be inspirational 24/7.
Absolutely.
But as long as you're not dumping on them 24/7, I feel like a little inspiration will do, People really don't ask for much.
No, they don't.
No.
I worked for a company that if you instilled positive reinforcement, they actually wouldn't believe you. They were so broken down.
Ew.
They would be like, I don't even know why. Or, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
That you're saying, thanks for all you do. Why? What do you need? Nothing.
It's always the thank you for the last thing you did before they ask you the new thing they want. You did such a great job on that. Great. Whose job do I get to do now?
Jeez. So there's servant leadership, it's called, prioritizing employees' needs and supporting their development and well-being. I love that. I think everyone should continue learning if they want to.
Yeah.
We have some people out there that don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
But offer classes, coach, teach, train.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Share with them maybe some great ideas. Because you know what? We all know that minds, what is it? Two minds together. You know all the phrases today. What is it?
Shit.
I
only know my own. When you try to tell me one, I go blank. I have
two heads together are better than one type thing.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Two heads are better than one. You're looking at a project and you're like, you know what? Let's do this together.
Kill two birds in the bush.
Yeah. How about empowerment and autonomy, giving employees the freedom to make decisions and take ownership of their work? You will not see that if you micromanage. You will not see that. You will not see ownership.
This is my problem. I think about my past. This is my problem with this. In my past, yes, I've been in leadership, but we didn't have to brainstorm any ideas. We didn't, we just basically did the same thing in and out every day, same thing over and over, which is kind of what I do now, you know?
Yeah.
So I can see, and I always say, the mundane, kills the vibe, right? It kills the motivation. So how do you take a mundane job where you do the same thing over and over again and make it exciting? Money is always motivational.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I guess that's the whole point, right?
We always joke about the pizza party.
Money.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want fucking pizza. We're all fat asses. We don't want pizza. We want money.
Yeah.
Money.
Unless those are dollar coins instead of pepperoni. Don't be buying me any pizza.
More vacation days.
Yeah.
More time off. That's such
mental
an
health
easy
days.
thing for the company to do.
Yeah.
Give you an extra 2 days off. It doesn't even cost the company anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Realistically, if you gave 30 people in the company an extra 2 days off because they met this goal, what does that cost the company?
Right.
$2,000, which is a drop in the bucket to most companies.
Yep.
I get it. If you're a small business, well, then you're only
you do different things.
Then you're giving 3 people 2 days off.
Right,
So it's like, come on.
How about half-day Fridays? There's a Monday through Friday job I had, and they did half-day Fridays.
Heck yes.
Do you know how happy everyone was at noon?
Yes.
And they would put their out of office.
Yes.
From noon on, or even on their calendar. No one could schedule a Google Meet afternoon on Friday. And that was what they did.
And you worked in an office then?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That was the Monday through Friday office job.
And realistically, maybe we don't want to get you in trouble, but in an 8-hour day, how much work do you really think you did in hours?
I did most of it that Friday morning.
Right. You did 36 hours of work in 4 hours on Friday morning.
Right.
And it's like, give us some fucking extra days off. We ain't doing shit anyways. We don't have that option working retail. We don't have that option.
Of course not.
But really, people stocking shelves, they're like, nah.
Yeah.
I bet I could make this pallet last 8 hours.
Or I have an idea.
We got the potatoes, right?
Time off requests, just approve them automatically.
Well, that's... Don't get me started.
Why we got blackout days, right? Why do we got blackout days? Why are we open on the holidays? That's a whole nother episode.
That's something I will praise our company for is our boss says if they request it off, give it to them.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There isn't much that, I can't imagine what's so important that we have to be there.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. So we already touched on this, but the next one is positive reinforcement, encouraging good performance through rewards and recognition rather than punishment. I mean, that's
not
just
recognition, rewards.
Okay.
We don't care about the recognition. I mean, unless you're
unless
you're trying to get to VP of the company, maybe you want others to see that you are a good worker and, they should move you up. But other than that, me, a little cashier, what do I care about a little piece of paper that said I didn't have one sick day. You know?
Right. True.
Give me money.
We did that during grade school. That was enough.
Give me money.
Yeah.
I want money.
Just take the cash drawer out. Dump it in your bag. Please don't do that.
No.
We'd have to have secret squirrel bag on.
Oh, God.
Constructive feedback. I feel like there's a limit to this. Focusing on goals and learning opportunities rather than merely pointing out mistakes.
The sandwich compliment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're a really great worker, but you really fucked up. But I really like you.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. When we start talking about this shit, I become such a negative Nancy about a lot of stuff.
So how do you stop a manager? Or how do you work with a manager that is the micromanager?
You just ignore him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, reply, I guess. But other than that, let them just... And you go, okay, have a great day, bye. Yeah. And you just go about your day, I
almost feel like the micromanager or the fear-based manager wouldn't really have solutions.
No.
Because it's really just... they're higher than you type thing.
Yeah.
They're letting you know that they're the boss. There really isn't any solutions for the stores. Or
I'm
for
right. You're wrong. Mm-hmm, yeah. And they're just coming at you with problems, no solutions.
Right.
Just pointing out what you did wrong. And it's like, okay, well, thanks for letting me know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just a couple thoughts here on stopping a manager who leads with fear or micromanages. So individual actions would be obviously document everything.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that? Document everything. Keep detailed records of specific instances of fear-based management, micromanaging, including your dates, your times.
Yeah.
What was said and done, fact-based. Do not put emotion to it.
Right.
And the impact of you and others, fact-based.
Yeah.
Document everything. Years ago, I had someone say, he doesn't stop calling me. He doesn't stop calling me. I said, just throw it in an email.
Yeah.
Stop answering your phone. Send a text and say, can you email me? I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
That's it. Put it in writing. Document it.
I feel like I'm an employee that, like I said, I have my coworkers I reach out to if I don't understand something before I call the boss, right? Because I'm not going to bother them, him, her, whoever.
Right.
I'm not going to bother that person unless it's like, hey, I've reached out and nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be the one that asks the $1 maybe dumb question, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
no
then,
dumb questions.
I know. But, you know, sometimes you feel dumb asking them. You're like, shit, should I know this? Is this common knowledge? You know, if you don't know,
you don't know.
If my other 2 coworkers didn't know, then I'm going to be like, can't be that much of common knowledge. So, but I feel like
you don't know what you don't know.
I'm a pretty easygoing employee, right? If I don't understand, I'll reach out. If I'm not reaching out, I get it. I don't need help. Like, if I'm performing my tasks, then, you know, and like I said, the one boss will be like, hey, check this out. Make sure you're following up on that. Oh, cool. Okay, thank you. You know,
and that usually is a note missed or something,
right?
Like a small detail in the email that maybe he or she read and you missed it because you're busy in stores. And they're like, hey, by the way, do this. Oh, yes.
Or maybe I never even opened the email. Who knows?
You know what? Maybe you just deleted it. I mean,
sometimes I'm like, there's 3 emails. I'll read them tomorrow.
Exactly.
And then I forget until noon. And it's like, shit, that one was flagged for importance.
What's this red exclamation mark
Why
for?
does it have a red flag? Is that telling me not to open it?
Yeah, right.
Usually red flags I try to avoid.
How about seek support?
Always.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Talk to trusted colleagues. How do you feel about
you don't
that?
want to gossip.
You don't want to gossip.
You don't want to gossip.
Yep.
You know, and like you said, keep it fact-based.
Yep. I'm guilty of it. I'll call someone and just be like, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, could I help you with it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe you need to go to your boss. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Go to someone that you trust that can help and can maybe possibly fix it.
Yeah.
Would that be something?
I'm more like, tell that person to their face. Like, you know, hey, can you back off a little? I feel like you're like jumping down my throat.
Right.
I'm not trying to be rude.
Yep.
But like, am I not doing a good job? Like, help me do better then. If you are calling me 4 times a day and saying this isn't getting done and this, like, send me a priorities list, you know, like, because I'm sorry I didn't get that done, but I did this, and this, you know, like.
Or I have an idea, by the time they called you 4 times, they could have been in the store with you, fixing it and helping you and working
or
next
just
to
sending
you.
an email recap end of day. Hey, you missed these. Can you make sure you pick those up next time? I don't have an issue with confronting the person.
Yeah,
I feel like I have that kind of attitude and personality that I don't offend people very easily, unless you're offended by the F word, because I say that a lot. But you know, like, if you have an issue with me, please come to me and tell me, because most likely I don't know. You know,
right.
But don't sit there and like jump down my throat every 10 minutes, because that's just going to give me the ick and I won't talk to you anymore.
I think I shared this with you a few weeks ago. Someone was trying to get a hold of me. I got 7 phone calls, like 4 text messages, and then like 1 or 2 emails.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything I could fix.
Yeah.
And I was with someone else that said, is there an emergency? I go, they shouldn't be calling me if it is.
Yeah.
Because I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Don't do that to each other.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens.
Right.
Emergency, yes, but then you call 911.
Right.
Don't call me.
If it's,
Don't call me.
Yeah, I don't know. If it's that big of an emergency, you got to follow the line of leadership also, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Bubble it up.
Call your team leader.
Bubble it up. How about creating a supportive environment?
Well, we should all feel we are in a supportive environment.
Right. And if we're not, then what? Then we leave to go to another
Find
supportive.
a new job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're not even going to have to talk about that because that's just how it should be.
Yeah.
Let's talk personal well-being too. Self-care, mental health days.
You know, nobody likes working, okay?
No.
Nobody likes working.
We'd all be really good at being rich.
Right. And if you really do enjoy your job, you're one of the few that are very lucky.
I enjoy my job.
How many times have I said it? Your job doesn't define you. It gets you the things you need in life.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Stop putting so much emotion to it. And it's hard because you're there a majority of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. I get it. But nothing is that important. Like,
agree.
Nothing is that crazy, on fire, emergency. Like, do your best every day, but don't kill yourself over it. Don't give yourself a freaking heart attack because nothing is that important.
Nope.
You know?
Nope. Agreed.
Yeah.
Long-term strategies. How do you feel
What?
about advocating
I got a
for policy
401k.
change?
I got a 401k. I got my long term. You know what I mean?
I got a Roth.
I fucking put shit in that every week. Company better match me for what I go through every week.
Or when there's micromanaging, it's be an advocate for policy changes.
Yeah.
If you can. But again, that brings in HR, and you know how we all feel about HR.
I'm just going to say,
if you've listened long enough.
When you say advocate for policy changes, that's like geometry to me, okay? I have no clue where to. I would have to get on Google for that one.
So it says, which you might disagree. I'm going to bet that you disagree.
Okay, let me hear it.
Work with HR and leadership to implement policies that promote respectful and positive management practices.
I'm like, have a gun to my head.
Come
right
on,
now.
Chat GPT. You're a machine.
It's just so unrealistic. You know what? But I'm using my experience.
Of course,
in the work
and
world,
I am too.
right?
And I am too.
I've always pretty much just been a peon.
HR has failed me too many times.
So many times.
Yeah.
So many times. You're better off just having a lawyer on deck.
That's actually, it says external support, legal advice is the last one it shares.
Is this illegal? Can we sue them? No? All right, I guess I'll go to work tomorrow then. And I'm just going to ignore it, you know?
It's so true.
Especially if you work for like a huge conglomerate.
Yeah.
I don't make that much money, you know? I better have a pretty damn good case if I'm going up against a multi-trillion-dollar company.
Right.
Because they're just going to fucking take me to court till I'm dead broken in the ground. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. Anyways.
And then the next one is leadership development. So support ongoing leadership development programs that emphasize emotional intelligence, empathy, and effective communication skills.
So basically what they're saying is you become the leader and make the change.
There we go.
You know?
Done.
There you go.
Be the change. Be the solution. Yeah. Be the solution.
Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of our suppliers on the phone today.
Yeah.
Because we had a terrible storm in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I guess 10 tornadoes touched down all at once
shit.
where he was staying.
Dang.
And he said that he was at the hotel. He was sitting at the bar. Everyone was not really wanting to be in their rooms because, you know, they just was a little bit stressful.
Like, if we're going to die, we'll all die together.
We're all going to go together. You know, they were kind of maybe saying there's a room that we can all go to. So they were all out in their pajamas. It was kind of like a pajama party. And he said that it happened. It was bad. And then like 20 minutes later, after it was calming down, everybody kind of finished their drinks and started walking back. Someone that worked at the hotel must have gotten a late alarm or like a late message
on their
and
phone,
walked out and said, "Everyone to the basement."
Oh,
and
my God.
He said, "Hey, dude, thanks so much, but you're 20 minutes late."
Oh, my God. How embarrassing
he said
is
it
that?
Absolutely made his day, though, because he had such a stressful day.
That is so funny. I had the one day I was stuck in the cooler. There was a tornado warning. And they're like, either leave the store now or go in the cooler. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, do I risk it? I risk it?
When you go into the cooler, are you stocking milk and eggs?
No. We were actually in the produce cooler.
Oh.
So it was
Can't do that because you got to take everything out to the floor.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just like, well, if I die today, this is really going to suck.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a produce
I always said I will die on my lunch break or whatever. You know, I'll never get to retire, so.
Ooh, sometimes I think about that. I'm like, ugh. You know, sometimes I look around my house and I'm like, oh, if I get murdered and they have to walk through my house and I'm on Dateline, my house is going to be, they're going to be like, well, look at her clothes sitting on the chair in the bedroom. You know, it's that washed but not quite hung up yet. I got the chair.
You tried it on and was like, nah, threw it on the chair.
I got a bench, actually. You know, it's like maybe a bra's hanging from a closet doorknob. I'm like, I'm just going to be terrible. I'll be so embarrassed as a ghost.
Mine, they would be like, we can't tell if this is dog hair or her hair. Because there's dog hair everywhere. And her hair. I guess they would not have trouble finding my DNA. It just may have a little canine mixed in with it.
Right. Gosh.
Why is there so much dog hair everywhere?
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get that out.
You know, just
it's been a long time coming. I wanted to talk about it.
Try to not care, but care enough.
Yeah. And we're always fun on this episode, on these podcasts. And I just kind of felt like I needed to be a little more serious.
Yeah.
Because I think there's too much micromanaging going around. I've been hearing too much about it.
Too much.
Let's be the solution, people.
Too much. Yeah.
Can't we all just get along?
Get your ass into leadership so you can be the change.
That's right. There we go.
Start taking them courses.
Everyone that listens to us is a leader now. There we go.
There you go.
Start taking them courses. Know your worth. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.